Hello everyone, it's Jen. I thought we'd get our sass on for day number 2 of the holiday card series. I'm using MFT's Sassy Santa stamp set, which has these cute little hipster Santas and really fun sentiments like "You Jingle My Bells" and "You Slay Me." I'm bringing in the Christmas Town Doodlebug 6x6 paper pad. That was from their release last year. I had the new one on its way, but I always encourage people to grab out things from their stash and use them as much as possible. So that's what I'm doing here today. Stamping out my images with my Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, which is a Copic safe ink, on some Spectrum Noir premium cardstock. For the skin tones, I wanted to do a paler tone. So I'm using E11 as my darkest, E00 as my mid-tone, and E000 as my lightest. Having the shadows under his hat and then behind where his mustache would be. Bringing in the R20 for his cheeks. And then I decided I wanted to darken up his shadows a little bit under his hat. So I went ahead and brought that E11 back and then blended that out with the other 2 markers. For his mustache and beard, I'm only going to do a 2-color blend. I wanted this to be like a soft gray but mostly white look. So I'm using W3 as my darkest, and then I'm blending that out with the W1 and then using the colorless blender to really blend that out so that he looks like he is white bearded, and the same for his mustache. So creating the shadows under his mustache and around his hand, again using the W3 here, mostly using the W1 and then blending that out with the with the colorless blender. But with the beard, I felt like it needed a little bit more, so I brought in that W00. I'm gonna color up his little hat here, the white band and the white pom-pom, and then the bands on his outfit in white. So for this, I'm using C3 and C1 and then my colorless blender again. So this will give some shading to the white areas, but with the colorless blender pulling that out, you can still tell that it is white. For the black, I'm using C9, C7, C5, and C3. Now for this little areas, I don't use the C3. I'll use it more on the sleigh. Fun fact, my C3 marker went missing after this video. I'm not sure if Piper got up on my desk and decided to play with it around the house somewhere, but it has yet to be located. So definitely missing that marker. You don't realize how much you use a marker until you don't have it. But anyways, I'm just showing you here how I'm coloring up his mittens and his boots. Went ahead and colored up that sleigh using those same colors. And now I'm going to do the reds. So for the reds, I chose R39, R29, and R24. So I'm leaving the shading mostly to the left-hand side of his hat. So that's where I'll have the darkest colors, and then bringing out the lightest to the right-hand side. I did need to do a little bit of tip-to-tip there between the R29 and the R24 to get a smooth blend. So this image was super easy to color. So if you're looking for a Santa image, maybe you're newer to coloring, or coloring intimidates you, this is a really great image. He was very easy to color, and I had a lot of fun coloring him up. So you can see here, I'm just adding the darkest shadows along his little Santa sack, under his arms, and under his beard. And then I'm blending that out with the R29 and then the R24. And again, just using tip to tip there, touching the R24 to the R29 a little bit to get that soft blend. Just going to quickly do up his pants here. I decided to add some shadowing under his jacket and to the outer edges of his legs. Not much here to color, so that was super quick and easy. For the bag, I decided to use E35, E34, and E31. So adding the shading to either side of his little Santa sack here to make it look rounded, and also adding a bit of shadow by his arm, which would cast a shadow backwards onto the bag. For the presents, I decided to go with red and green. I was keeping the color palette fairly simple. So for my greens, I'm using G28 G46 and G24. So the G28 is my darkest, the G46 the mid-tone, and the G24 my lightest. I decided at this point, I wasn't quite sure what color I wanted that other present, but I went with red just to keep the color palette similar. Now just adding some detailing here with my black glaze pen for his eyes and the buttons on his coat, and then I'm going to add a little bit of highlight here with my white gel pen. I am going to add some decoration to the presents as well. I'm going to do a diagonal stripe on the longest rectangle present, and then for the red present I'm going to add some polka dots. So that will just give a little bit of interest to those presents. So now we're just going to go ahead and create the card. I cut out this really cute Santa pattern paper with a stitched rectangle die and adhered that to my card base. I decided to cut out a panel of this red paper. It has polka dots on it in white and green. I think those are the only two colors. It's a dark green and a light green on the red paper. And I thought that would pick up nicely with the red in the Santa. So I'm just going to place that to the center of the card. I did use the rectangle die for that as well, so there's stitch detailing along both sides of the red piece of paper. Went ahead and cut out a stitched oval just out of some regular white cardstock, and I thought about doing something to the back of this focal point, but I really loved the bright white. I thought it really picked up nicely with the white in the pattern paper and the white areas of our Santa. I thought about making a snow hill for him and a background scene, or just doing some simple ink blending. But like I said, I just really loved the simple look of this card. I think it's a great gender neutral card, makes for a great masculine card in particular. So I kind of went with clean and simple for this one. I did go ahead and add some shading underneath the images with my C1. If I had my C3 marker, I would have added that as well just to darken up that shading, but that just helps ground those images. And I went ahead and adhered both the Santa and the sleigh onto my focal panel there, straight down with some liquid adhesive. Thought about popping them up as well, but really, like I said, just love the simplicity of this card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. I chose You Slay Me because I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Using my Versafine Clair Nocturne ink here, I'm going to stamp that up a couple times to get a nice crisp black image. And then I'm going to decorate the inside of my card. So I'm going to use the sentiment that says, "Celebrate the season with glee." Just stamping that on the inside. And then I had a spare piece of pattern paper left over from that red piece that I used in the center of the card. So I'm just going to add that to the bottom of the card. Trim off either of those sides, and that will do it for card number 2. So hope you're enjoying the holiday card series so far. This is always my favorite time of year to create cards. So I'm having fun getting ahead on some Christmas cards and looking forward to sharing more with you. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll leave links to more videos. Take care. Bye.